You have just stepped into the midlife revolution, your space to ignite possibility, redefine purpose, and embrace the power that comes with age. Co-hosted by yours truly, Coach Wayne.
And I'm Coach Stacy M. Lewis, and we're two seasoned coaches focused on the midlife community of color. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. In a world that sometimes forgets the power and the wisdom that comes with age, we're here to ignite a revolution and rewrite the narrative of this incredible journey.
So, whether you're navigating career shifts, rediscovering passions, or challenging the status quo, this is your space. So buckle up. Let's dive into the midlife revolution. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday morning. It's August the 20th. Happy birthday to my brother-in-law, Lucian. Dr. Jones, you are the
Happy
man.
birthday.
Love you, brother. Yes, sir. And Stacy, school has started back for most of the folks down here in Florida and all over the country. So we're getting to the season of fall and timing, so important. So we're going to talk about that today, folks. But before we do that, let me introduce myself. I am Coach Wayne, the VIP coach, and I'm responsible for helping men get to midlife and through midlife so that their second half is their best half. Along with me today in the driving seat is Coach Stacy M. Lewis. Stacy, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good day, good evening. If you're catching the replay or you live on the other side of this beautiful world of ours, I am Coach Stacy M. Lewis. I'm a nonprofit executive. I'm a health educator, and I serve as a coach to midlife women because it's a great time to really thrive. So I'm excited to be here with Wayne talking about time. And one thing we know as people in this midlife is that time is finite. So we need to make sure that we are making the best use of this time that we have.
Yep, Stacy, our title today leads off with maximizing your 24. Speaking of 24 hours in the day, we all start off with it. It turns out that we have 1,440 minutes per day to maximize our time, Stacy. And when you look at that, it's relative. It can be a lot or a little. It just depends on how you budget it. Did I say budget? Yes, we budget time as well, right, Stacy?
You did say budget. Yes,
right.
We must budget time.
And we agree that time management is life management.
Yes, 100%. No doubt about it.
So I know, Stacy, you had shared with me a wonderful article where there was a discussion around some of the habits that successful people use to get through their day and their nights and their weeks and their years using effective strategies, these strategies for managing their lives and time. So why don't we kick it off and get into it, Stacy?
Absolutely, because I think that one of the most important things is that we must realize that time is our most valuable resource. We will never get these minutes back. We can't, people talk about making up sleep or catching up on sleep. We will never get these minutes back. So let's really treat them as our most precious, valuable resource, as opposed to, sometime, Wayne, I can't help myself but stop people when they say, oh, so I was just killing time. No, we don't kill time. It is our most precious, valuable resource. In those minutes when you're waiting for the kids or when you are waiting for the meeting to start, remember, those minutes count. So let's make the most of them. And one thing we know that so many of us are utilizing our time on is mindless scrolling. Looking at TikTok or Facebook or even LinkedIn. Right. Just scrolling, caught in the vortex, losing valuable moments on information in great part that we're often not going to use. So we think it is truly important for successful people to remember that even in the scrolling, you've got to give yourself a limit and understand that that time that you are using is valuable.
Yeah, it is such a magnetic rabbit hole
Mm,
because once you get in there and you start scrolling, you're curious, you want to know what's happening, you want to stay up to date, and you also have a sense of uh, courtesy, as it were, if somebody reaches out to you to get back to them. But you can imagine how far down the rabbit hole this could take you. And for many of us, we have not just one channel. We are on, right? We are on X, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, and a lot of folks go on TikTok for mindless scrolling. Exactly that. And it's so important that one of the things, Stacy, that we see from successful people is that they schedule, and we're going to talk about this, block
mm.
time. Most important, you schedule time for the time of day, for scrolling, social media, and also you block time for the things you do. So, Stacy, we could talk a little bit about time blocking because coming down with the other habits, managing and organizing and having a calendar of some sorts or reminder is going to be important, because otherwise that 14, 40 minutes flies by, whether you're scrolling or trolling or doing whatever else. So,
I
blocking
agree. I agree. I think that the thing about scrolling is that we really have to check ourselves and make sure that what we're doing is in alignment with the value that we want to get out of those minutes. And so if, scrolling for an hour on TikTok brings you value to your business, value to your learning, and that's the way you've decided you wanted to glean that. Like you said, you scheduled that 60 minutes on your time, on your schedule of the day to scroll mindlessly. I doubt, I hope not. Yet we really want to make sure that we are utilizing and paying attention to how we're utilizing that time. So don't let the scrolling be the pitfall. I'd love to talk about time blocking.
Yeah. Well, time blocking, so important. The idea is if it's going to be, you have to be able to see it, right? So time blocking
Mm,
is around, and I use that all the time. If you need to do your yoga in the morning or your stretches or take a run, you don't leave it to chance, right? You plan in your day on your calendar or whatever tool you're using, a time frame to block each activity, which would include scrolling. So you give yourself a time frame, and that may be 6:20 in the morning before the kids are up, or
mm.
while you're, taking your walk. But you block that time and you stick to it.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's so important. And Wayne, that's one of the key reasons I got a dog back in the day, right? Was so that not only would I be forced basically to get out and walk, but that it would be on a schedule, that I would get up and get ready and we would need to go out. So that scheduling part of it, really building in the routine of managing your time is important.
Wait till I tell Bernardo that you bought him as a tool for time management.
Such a squeal. You're such a squeal.
Stacey, what you got next?
What we got next is dwelling on past mistakes. And while it doesn't immediately sound like one of the uh, pitfalls, so to speak, of utilizing time or managing time, so often or too often, we're really finding that, in this season of life, many of our cohort is taking too much time focused on things of the past. What happened in the past, who did what in the past, what I didn't do in the past. And it truly does detract from having a growth mindset. Being focused on things back there does not allow you to focus on things going and growing forward. And so that dwelling on the past mistakes is not a successful strategy. Conversely, the growth mindset, really thinking about what I've learned from those past mistakes, help us move forward.
That's right. So we're talking about focusing on our strengths and forgetting about the the errors and the pitfalls that we have had, because they're part of life. But we talked about this before, we can't move too far forward without falling again over and over, especially if we're busy looking behind us in the rear view, right? We got to stay ahead. And so the negative self-talk really talks us out of progress and moving forward. And if we're taking on a project or we're trying to move forward as far as managing our time needs to be about the here and now as we focus on coaching in preparation for the tomorrows, right? So we try not to dwell in the past and focus on that negative self-talk.
Right, right. You're absolutely right. The negative self-talk will really hinder us from utilizing our time well. That negative self-talk is often based in a lie or things that are not true. And so we're spending time focused on the negative, focused on things that are not true. And it is the opposite of really ensuring that our thoughts are based on encouragement or support, or how we can really strategize and make small changes to move things forward. So I love that you drew the dwelling on past mistakes right into the negative self-talk.
And to be sure, Stacey, going back to the Paul syndrome that I introduced before,
Mhm.
possibility, ability, and worthiness, when we remember that if it's possible for someone, it's possible for us. When we
Mhm.
remember that we have the ability because we can learn anything we want at any time, even at mid-age. And when we remember that we're worthy, right? We're special, we're children of the Most High, then
Yes.
we know that we can focus on positive talk. What do you got next for us, Miss Stacy?
Yes, yes, that was good. I was gonna say, right, it
Thank
ties
you.
into knowing your value
Yes.
and applying that value to how you use your time. What we've got next is, I'm sure, something that all of our listening audience can relate to, whether you've struggled with it or whether you just had a brief brush with it, and that is procrastination.
Boom.
Procrastination. And
Stacy,
we go ahead,
we,
Wayne.
we all have that, don't we?
We've all kind of yeah, yeah, yeah. And we need to think about what is the cause of the procrastination. Is the procrastination being caused by fear? Is it being caused by perfectionism? Is it being caused by invisibility? What's causing the procrastination? Because successful people know that procrastination is not a trap they want to fall into. You want to really ensure that you are managing. You talked about time blocking, that you are identifying the essential or critical tasks, and that you have a plan to get them done, as opposed to keeping things swirling around in your head, or letting that one task kind of slow you up because you're not quite sure, or you're afraid, or you want to do it perfect. There are so many reasons for procrastination, but that is not a trap we want to fall in. And if you find yourself really struggling with procrastination, this is one opportunity to engage a coach like Wayne or myself, because we need to really get to the root cause of the procrastination so that we can write a new story and move forward.
Yeah. Stacy reminds me, if you don't get started, you can't get finished, right? And Sir Isaac Newton said, an object in motion continues in motion until it has some sort of resistance,
Right.
which means just get started. Just get started. The momentum of just taking the first step will get you moving, right? So we are saying that successful people, they are facing the fear anyway and just getting started. Stacy, this is a good time to talk about one of the strategies that has been made popular by a lot of successful people, and that's Pomodoro, the Pomodoro effect or system or strategy of time management. And how this works, good folks, is we know that we typically can't just create a project and go all out at the same pace with the same intensity and focus till the end. So we divide it up. The Pomodoro strategy says work in chunks of, say, 20 or 25 minutes straight, then take like a 5-minute break where you can run to the restroom, drink some water, whatever, but let go of the work. Come back and do that again and repeat the cycle up to 4 times or until your project is completed. Then you take a 30-minute or so break. In that 30 minutes, you can take a nap, you can do whatever, but you let the work go. The mind is getting refreshed. You're really letting it go, and you're focusing when you get back. All you do in that 20 minutes or 25 minutes is the assigned task. Get it done.
I like it. I've used the Pomodoro technique a couple of times, and I appreciate this reminder of that as a technique to really not only have a solid piece of time to do what needs to be done, but to also give yourself the grace, so to speak, of that 5-minute break to just refresh, to look away. And often I find that when I apply the Pomodoro technique, I end up working for longer segments of time because then I'm training myself to be focused. And that is one thing that successful people do, that they really avoid procrastination and make sure that they're trying ways and implementing ways to move forward with the tasks at hand.
No doubt, no doubt. Stacy, authors use that a lot, writers use that a lot.
Yeah.
Because, we get the moments where there's just nothing happening. We are dry. And so that really helps. Take a walk during your little break. What else we have on that list, Stacy? And by the way, folks who stay with us, we are promising you at the end, I'm going to give you 6 or so key technology or apps that you can use. So you got to get ready to write them down to help you in your movement with your life and time management. So stick to the end.
Love it. Yes. Stay till the end. We'll make sure that they're also in the show notes for those of you catching the replay. So what's next? And I like this one as a strategy that successful people avoid, so to speak, to maintain their success. And that is chasing approval. We have all done it, really focusing on the wrong things, the wrong people, and looking to them as approval or validation of what it is we're doing. And that time that we are chasing approval is actually wasting our time. And so a strategy for success is beginning to build confidence in the decisions that you're making, in the moves that you're making, and the strides that you're taking so that you're achieving your goals and establishing your own benchmarks for success so that you are not chasing the approval of others, other entrepreneurs, other leaders, other CEOs. It doesn't matter. It's not about chasing the approval that's going to have you utilizing your time well. It's going to be about validating yourselves in ways and letting your work really speak and validate you publicly.
Absolutely. And Stacey, you know the old theory that suggests that if you're surrounding yourself with folks, you'll be the average of the five folks that you're a part of, right? Both in
Mm.
income and in terms of visibility, because the people you know, the people they know, the networking and all that. And it makes sense. So one of the things that I recommend for folk who are worried about approval is to become part of mastermind groups
Mm.
where you're akin, you're in alignment with the folks that are there. So it's not like you need to be shot down or seek approval. You're there, iron sharpening iron,
Yes.
and you're putting ideas out and you're running with the stuff. So that's one of the ways that I recommend for folks to manage their life and their time in terms of rather than chasing approval, assign yourself to a mastermind group.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That accountability
Yeah.
and that ability to share your ideas, right, with peers, people that also have ideas to share and want to glean from your ideas. That's one thing I love about being in a mastermind, is that it really is an opportunity to be creative, and you're not looking to prove yourself. You are really looking to contribute and to glean at the same time. Love a good mastermind. Love it.
Absolutely, Stacy.
I would say that the last of our six is neglecting self care. And so
Mhm.
these are not necessarily the typical strategies for success as it relates to time management, but they really are critical. We're talking about how successful people manage their most valuable resource, and that is time. And neglecting self care is one of those really linchpin um, activities that will dismantle how you use your time well. And so, making sure that you are getting proper exercise and nutrition and sleep, truly, and Wayne talked about relaxation, truly are aspects of self-care that help you maximize your minutes, your 24 hours that Wayne talked about, broken down into minutes, y'all.
Yeah.
So I really believe that it is a strategy for success to make sure that you're incorporating self-care.
Yeah, self-care is so important, Stacey. And here is a key. I'm reminded by this by one of my mentors, friends, and past bosses, Marie. And she says, the power of no, learning to say no.
Mm,
There's so many things coming our way all day long
that's
that
good.
if we don't realize that we have to filter out stuff, we are going to flood ourselves. Our
Mhm.
nerves are going to be on edge. We're going to feel like we're burning out, catching up, like we're always in traffic trying to catch the next light. And so just learning to say no and to take a deep breath. And as my mother says, enjoy the flowers along the way, right?
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
take time out and remember, we don't have to be a part of every party, right? We don't have to be part of it. We can sometimes just chill back and what's they say, uh, chill out watching Netflix, right?
Well, one of my coaches calls it the joy of missing out. We often, focus on FOMO, the fear of missing out, but there is real joy in missing some opportunities, whether it be to have fun or, to do something that somebody else wants to do, yet to take those moments and really do what you need to do to care for you, is the joy of missing out. So
Yeah.
I love what you said, really just smelling the flowers and being present is critical to managing your time well.
Yeah. So I have some cheat notes down here, Stacey. I'll
Take
take my
notes.
eyes off the camera and let's talk to folk now. And Stacey, you have personal references to some of these tools. Asana.
Mhm.
So Asana is for streamlining team projects. And it's one of those things that you can get involved in and use. Stacey, your team has used Asana. right?
It is a project management tool, a team project management tool. I think anyone that, looks up Asana can look up related projects, but it is that idea of using the tools that exist. And I love this list that Wayne has come up with, using the tools that exist to just help you do what you have to do better, more efficiently, and maybe a little bit more automated. So yes, we have used Asana in our business, and the team has found it really, really beneficial.
So we're suggesting people to just check these out. And most of these have a free trial too, by the way. And then there's Slack. I've used
Mm,
Slack, and most of you may know Slack. Slack is really a platform for teams, to get together. Um, just to have it integrates with like Google Docs and Asana and Trello, which I'll mention
mhm.
in a little while. But Teams, Slack allows us to message each other and have these conversations as a team.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned Trello, and one of the things I like about Trello is that it allows you to organize yourself well, right? Some of us have big teams, some of us have no teams. Um, Either way, it's important for us to have ourselves organized. And so, everyone, let me tell you how Wayne and my family tend to make fun of me because as I refer to documents that we are sharing, I say, yes, it is on our Google Drive folder. And my family and now Wayne all go, oh my goodness, the Google Drive folder. At the same time, they're like, wow, you're organized. You know where everything is. And so Trello, Google Drive, to me, it is about how can I stay as organized as possible, um, so that I can manage an executive job, being a midlife women's coach, being a mom of an adult child, running a household, taking care of a dog, even the dog, you got to show vaccination records nowadays, right? Where are they? They're on Google Drive. I'm
That's
just
right.
saying.
That's right. And you mentioned Trello, which is used again. It's another project management tool. They utilize cards, lists, boards, and some other stuff. And then, of
Hmm.
course, there's Google Workplace. And Google Workplace is a cloud-based, tool which saves on your storage on your personal devices. It's great for collaborative efforts again, to share calendars, um, you know, documents and that sort of stuff. And a lot of you are familiar with Google Workplace. Any comments on use of that one, Stacy?
Yeah, I already talked about Google Drive. I have multiple Google Drives. I think I found my sweet spot there because we use Google Drive, in the organization that I work for. I use that in my personal life, and I use that for my business. So
Yeah.
I'm a Google Workspace fan. No,
Then
they
there's
didn't. They're gonna have to sponsor, our next season. I'm just saying now that we've given them all
absolutely
this
gotta get
prop.
some sponsors. And don't forget Notion. Again, an author suggested this to me in the past, and I've used it with some success, but I move around and don't use it all the time. But it's a digital notebook, Notion.
Mm,
Um, it's for every task, really. And you can plan events on it, keep your personal notes to self, use Notion. So I would invite folks to go check that out as well as part of your life management.
life management.
Then there's Todoist, Todoist, right? Todoist, I call it.
Todoist or not Todoist? That
Yeah,
is the question.
it's a task management tool again, where you are forced to do your deadlines. You're going to get a kick in the as it warns you about time that's elapsing and just managing your deadlines and so forth. It's a great reminder, right? So for the single men who don't have the wonderful organization and help of their female counterparts, because Audrey really helps me. She's my to-doist oftentimes. Make sure you get one of these, okay?
The to-doist and the honey-do list, huh?
That's right. That's right. And Stacy, rounding them up, and there's some others. Folks, just feel free to drop me a DM, and I'll give you this list. And like Stacy says, we're going to try to get them up in the notes today or tomorrow.
Yeah. We want to be mindful of your time, but we'll say overall, successful people avoid mindless scrolling. They make sure they don't dwell on past mistakes. They avoid negative self-talk. They don't procrastinate. We don't seek approval from others. We make sure that we're taking good care of ourselves, and we make sure that we value our time. We hope that this episode of the Midlife Revolution was indeed informative and engaging, and we hope you had a little fun with us too. It is always our joy to have you. Wayne,
Stacey,
say goodbye to the people.
Well, let me just say this. Tomorrow I'm celebrating my wedding anniversary with the wonderful bride.
Happy anniversary, Wayne.
It's our 9th year. Thank you. And I'm not wearing my ring, nor is Audrey. So she called to remind me to go pick it up. We dropped it off at the jewelry store to get it all polished up and the diamond set and all that good stuff. So I'll have that tomorrow when you see me, folks. So, darling, happy, wonderful 9th anniversary. You've made me a new man. You've made us, it's been beautiful. Thank you for the journey. And
happy anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I hope that you enjoy celebrating the beautiful Black love that you share. Yay!
Thank you so much. I love it. So, Stacy, we're going to do this again when?
Next Tuesday. We'll see you then.
All righty, guys. Have a wonderful rest of the week.
You are the revolution. Have a great.
And there you have it, folks. This week's episode of the Midlife Revolution. Hey, we truly appreciate you spending this time in this space with us. Join us next week at the same time as we dive into relevant topics and present solutions to spark new thinking and empower your midlife journey.
Don't forget, if today's episode resonated with you, share your thoughts and suggest topics in the comments. And of course, remember to subscribe, share, like, and hit that notification bell. You are the Midlife Revolution. I'm Coach Stacy, and I'm cheering you on.
And I'm Coach Wayne, and I'll see you at the top.